What's up? This is Jimmy from Thousand Below. You're watching Heavy New York.
Heavy, 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 heavy New York.
What's up, everybody? It's Alex from Heavy New York. We are back at the Kingsland in Brooklyn, and we return with a familiar face, James of Thousand Below. Thank you for your time.
What's up, y'all? How's it going?
It's great to have you back. The last time we spoke was on your tour with Bless the Fall, which was over a year ago. But since then, you were at that time you were touring off The Love You Let Too Close. But now you put out Gone in Your Wake. You just want to talk about how the making of that record was and the record cycle thus far with it?
The cycle's going a lot smoother than the making of it was. Making of it was a bit stressful. We kind of we did it in a much shorter time frame than we should have done it in. But also we lost a couple members right before going into the studio, so we kind of some of the stuff we were working with, we had to chop off since that was their stuff. So we were like, all right, let's get back to it. And we went in, we wrote a lot of stuff in the studio, and it ended up, we tried to budget ourselves 3.5 weeks, but we ended up needing an extra 5 days after that. But it was still a time crunch. But after, once it was all said and done, it's been smooth sailing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you conceptually just consider this a follow-up to The Love You Let Too Close, or do you think that this is almost kind of its own entity in the Thousand Below catalog?
It's its own thing for sure. We're trying to do each record completely differently. We don't want any of them to sound similar to each other because we just, we get bored of making the same type of music every, year. So we want to do a bunch of crazy stuff. And, so it's definitely a different thing. It's sonically different. It's less heavy. We just want to show that we can make heavy music and not heavy music. And then going forward, it's probably going to be a mix of both. So.
I saw, as somebody who was listening to you since the beginning, I saw sides of this that I'd never heard in Thousand Below before. One might be kind of a silly question, but compare being that this record's very melodic, is this maybe almost a different side of you than what you express in your heavier element?
Yeah, because I also hit this point now where I'm comfortable with my singing voice. On the first record, I had no idea what the hell I was doing. That was my first time ever singing on anything. So now I kind of know where my voice sits probably, so we wrote these songs around my voice rather than trying to make my voice fit around the songs the first time around, because we didn't know let's write the songs around the keys that Jimmy's voice is comfortable in, you know what I mean? So everything just sounds way more natural. It feels better, I'm more confident, and it's just all around better, 10 out of 10.
Yeah. Now, having new members contribute to Thousand Below, did that also maybe help bring in some newer elements as well?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't end up getting, so we lost a guitarist, so we only have one now, and then we didn't end up getting another, but we got a new drummer. Max did all the drums on the record. We had him just go in and spice everything up that we had already done, and it sounds just way sick. It sounds cool. He's very good, so yeah.
Now, in terms of the lyrics, because I remember we discussed a lot about the lyrics for the Love You Let Too Close cycle, but were you also, being that you gotten more comfortable with your singing voice, do you maybe incorporate some other lyrical subject matters as well?
I mean, people know that I can go both sides in lyrics. I can go really deep and really meaningful, and I can also do stuff that's a little bit more broad and just sort of easy to sing along to. I feel like I'm comfortable doing both, and I feel like the people that care about our band understand that I'm able to do both. So if I do a couple songs that are more a little bit more simple, a little bit more just open-ended, that I don't think people will be oh, he's lost it, because they know that I can still do songs like The Love You Let Too Close and stuff like that. And so I don't think I went as ham lyrically on this record. On Gone in Your Wake, I wanted to show that we could make catchy bangers, you know what I mean? The last one was it was all emotion, it was heavy, it was sad, it was all these other emotions. This one we were all right, let's show we can write some catchy music while still keeping the emotion there as the center theme, but yeah, that was the big thing. I just want to show that we can write a hook and stuff like that and make have people singing along and shit. Yeah.
And now, with Gone in Your Wake, you also had a couple of noticeable guests collaborate with this album as well. Did working with them also kind of teach you some new things as well, or even added stuff to Thousand Below instrumentally?
Yeah, the things that I learned from them was we did the Never Say Die tour, and that was with Northlane and Being as Notion. Those were the two headliners of that tour. And watching Michael and watching Marcus sing every night, dude, it's they're putting on a clinic out there, literally. Every single night I got to watch it. And then I became buddies with them, really tight buddies with them. And then in the bus one day, me and Marcus were talking, and we were both of us were it'd be cool if we did a song together. So we were writing Lost Between, and we had the open verse, and I was this would be sick. And Marcus was telling me, he's I don't want to do we didn't want it to be the obvious feature, whereas if you hear Northlane, you'd expect him to be like kind of screaming over like a heavy song, maybe something bouncy of ours, like some gent type stuff. But we were like, no, let's do something that's like all melody, let's do all singing. And then Michael's voice is obviously like so smooth, and we were like, how cool would it be to just put him on an acoustic song, you know? And then Edge of Your Bed came out, and his voice, oh my God, it's so smooth. Like both of them are just such amazing singers, and it's cool to have them on there. Yeah.
I was taken by surprise when I saw that Marcus was collaborating, like, you know, featuring Marcus. I'm like, oh, this might be, you know, a super heavy one or whatever. And then, like, I was like, wow, that I saw sides of Northlane and Being as an Ocean as well, incorporated different sides of them as well as I saw different sides of you.
Yeah, they're just, I mean, it's like, it's kind of funny. Like, I'll sing like my whole song, and then they come on and they just like make me sound awful in comparison, you know, because they're both like, those guys are like professional singers, and me, like, I'm very new. I'm figuring it out. But yeah, having those guys on there was just such a nice like little like texture. It's like the icing on the cake, you know. It's freaking awesome. Yeah.
Going back to the songwriting process, I don't believe I asked you this during the last interview, but do you need to kind of like put yourself in a certain atmosphere or a certain element in order to get inspired to write, or like does inspiration or ideas sometimes just come out of the blue?
We won't like start writing anything until, at least I won't vocally until like I have like a concept. Like I'll come up with the album name, and then the song names and the meaning after that. Like I will have like something that I want to say, and then once I have something that I want to say, that's when it's like my brain just once it's time to make an album, I can switch into album mode so easily. Like as long as I have something that I want to say and it's the right like time, and we have ammo, you know what I mean, like instrumentals lined up and stuff, I can go in pretty quick.
Yeah. When it comes to like, you know, because I feel like Gone in Your Wake and even the last album, The Love You Let Too Close, I feel like the meanings in itself almost has like so much interpretational elements. Is this like a very literal meaning behind the record, or is there some metaphorical elements as well?
This one was like half and half. The Love You Let Too Close is like, it's like very deep, it's honest, but it's also, I feel like it's pretty obvious. Like I spelled out a lot of the things. In Gone in Your Wake, it was a little bit more metaphorical, but also again, we were more focusing on like, we wanted to show people that we're not just a post-hardcore band. We can do like the heavy screaming, like sad cry mosh stuff, and then we also can like make a catchy like rock song, you know. We wanted to just show like, and we're gonna keep doing that. We're gonna keep trying new things. We're gonna keep expanding. Like it's never gonna stop. We're just, every record is gonna be us trying new things because we want to push ourselves and challenge ourselves. So
yeah. I noticed like a lot of bands have been kind of pushing the boundaries. Like I felt like Crown the Empire kind of did it on their last record. Issues did it on their last record. So it seems like everybody's been sort of pushing the boundaries of the genre.
It's just so fucking boring writing the same album over and over again. Like, at least to me, like I know a lot of bands, like you can build a very good career off of writing the same record over and over again, just make it a little better each time. And no shade to any band that does that. Everyone has their own formula. Just me personally, like I get very bored easily. Like after we put out The Love You Let Too Close, like we all just got so bored of those songs so fast. We were like, all right, cool, we did that. Let's on to the next thing. Let's see what else we can do. You know what I mean? And we just want to challenge ourselves, or else it's like not fun. Because like the heavier songs, they're much easier to write. You know, it's harder to get a song that gets the crowd going without just like 3 breakdowns in it or something like that. It's more challenging that way. At least me personally, like that's the way I view it. That's how it is for us. Yeah.
Could the changes in your sound also be representative of who you are at that particular time?
Well, I'd say like Gone in Your Wake is always more towards like, that's more towards what I wanted to do, but I didn't have like the ability to do it. And then our guitarist that left the band, he was like in the beginning when this band first started, it was supposed to be like, I don't even know if there was going to be screaming in this band at all. But then when we like formed the band in the beginning, he was like, hey, I want to play post-hardcore stuff. And we were like, cool, let's do it. Like we love the genre. So we did it. And then after he left the band, we were kind of like, in a sense, like freed up to do whatever we want, because he was the one that kind of wanted things to stay heavier. And once he left the band, it was kind of like, all right, well, let's just go all the way down the rabbit hole of making a bunch of like, you know, like mood rock bangers and see if we can pull it off. And I think people like it. Like, I don't know, like songs like 171 and Chemical, they're doing well. So like, it's but also we're not gonna stop making heavy music. Like obviously, like Disassociated, like I think that song slaps personally. People like it live. It goes off live. It's cool. It's high energy. So we're gonna do both. Like I said, it's gonna be like 50-50 down the line. Yep.
And I have 2 more questions for you, but do you think that this record has even opened up even more doors for further experimentation for 1000 Below?
Yeah, absolutely. So we went in with like the production stuff like Omnisphere and Serum and shit like that. It's like those weird like I'm not great with this stuff. I just do the vocals, but like it's like post production, like keyboard s stuff. Like we added we essentially replaced a lot of like the leads from, like we had tons of leads on the first record all over, and this one we were like, let's do something different. Let's replace that layer with a different feel of a thing. So the Joshes got really, really good at that stuff, and they're oh, you can come through. It's no big deal. Yeah, you're straight. But yeah, it's getting better and better each time. Yeah.
And the final question I wanted to ask you is actually when I interviewed you before on the Bless the Fall tour, that was actually my first time ever seeing you guys live.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I thought, as somebody who was listening to you, it was a completely different experience watching you play than simply listening to you. Is there a similar, though, maybe energy that you channel into your live presence as you do when you're writing vocals and writing music, or are they two completely separate arts altogether?
Dude, it really depends. Like, it's all off the crowd. Like, sometimes the crowd is like, and also like just the vibe of the room. Like sometimes it's like, all right, this is gonna be like a sing along night. You know what I mean? Sometimes the crowd is like, we are singing every word, and there's not really gonna be a pit. And then some nights it's like way more of an emotional experience, or maybe it's a little bit more like pit heavy. Like everyone's like push moshing and jumping up and down and like going ham on the heavy parts. And it's kind of just like the way I vibe it, or the way I act, is like just off of how they're going and how the room feels. Like some rooms are more lit up, some rooms are much more like darker and dreary and gloomy, or if it's like, I don't know. There's all these things that go into that. So I think each time it's a little bit different. It's whatever the crowd wants. Like if they're singing every word, cool. It's gonna be a sing along night. I'm gonna chill and not headbang too much. Just hold the mic out and everyone's gonna sing and have fun. Or if it's like, damn, the Pit Warriors are out tonight. Like I'm gonna freaking go ham and like do all the headbangs and bust out all the stops. Some nights crowd surfing and shit. Like it just depends, man. It's like every night's different.
Yeah, it's gonna be a crazy one tonight.
Yeah.
Let me tell you.
Tonight's sold out. It's gonna be sweaty. It's just a pretty small room in there. I'm excited personally, but yeah.
So before we go, always great to see you. Thanks again for your time. Just is there anything else that you'd like to promote for the Gone in Your Wake record cycle that you're of course allowed to say?
I mean, we're doing a music video for 171 like tomorrow, so that will be cool. And then other than that, just thanks for listening, everybody, because we love the record and we love that people love it. So that's sick. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jimmy. Everybody, Jimmy of 1,000 Below, Gone in Your Wake, out now on Rise. Be sure to pick that up. This is Alex from Heavy New York. We'll see you next time.
Yeah.